According to reports, Thor and Cinderella director Kenneth Branagh has signed on to direct the upcoming Disney Weinstein film Artemis Fowl, based on the successful book series. Artemis Fowl is about a 12-year-old Artemis who is a millionaire, a genius, and above all, a criminal mastermind. But Artemis doesn't know that he's taken on when he kidnaps a fairy, Captain Holly Short of the LEPrecon Unit, to harness her magic to save his family. Schnepp, buy or sell Kenneth Branagh directing Artemis Fowl.
I know nothing about Artemis Fowl. When you said LEPrecon and I read that, in my mind I said, boo. That's what happens when I hear something that bad and corny. Let's force these together. Anyway, I know nothing about it. It's a book, you say?
Yeah, it's a series of books.
Oh, a series of books. It could be fantastic. I buy it only on the strength of Kenneth Branagh. Like we were talking about Shakespeare before. That man knows his Shakespeare. He brought it heavily in Henry V, in Hamlet. So, and also he's a great director. He did Thor. So you bring this guy on to anything, there's a couple of misfires there like Frankenstein, but everyone has their stumbling blocks. So this guy, he can't really do no wrong as far as a director. So I think even with the corniness of Artemis Fowl capturing a leprechaun from the unit of fairy spies or whatever, I don't know. I didn't read it, but he's going to bring something to it filmically. So that's why I'll buy it.
I'm going to huge buy this, not only exclusively because of Kenneth Branagh. The background, all the stuff that you mentioned, but even more modern. For a long time, Thor, the first Thor movie, was my favorite of all the Marvel standalone films. I love that first Thor and what he did with that. And what he did with Cinderella is nothing short of amazing. Disney's had, up until Cinderella, had a bit of a hard time with their live action adaptations. I didn't think Maleficent was very good at all. Their Alice in Wonderland first one I thought was terrible. He came along, he breathed such life into Cinderella. I loved that movie and what he did with it. And to see what he can now bring into something like a children's novel series, it makes me excited. I think it's going to be really good with him at the helm. So for me, it's a buy.
Also buy. I'm not familiar with the property either, but I do think we need more fantasy in this world if done well, and he has that sensibility to him. I mean, he's an amazing actor, producer, director. He can do everything. I also really like Cinderella. When they were making it, I was like, all right, whatever, but it was charming, and because he's such a good thespian, because he really is, he really brings these performances out of his actors, and I'm really excited to see his Hamlet as well, because they're making a film version of him acting as Hamlet and also directing it. Not the film, whatever. And I think that this project sounds really exciting. Thor was also one of my favorite standalones, and he's just got it. So it could be really fun. A little cheese ball, but that's okay with fantasy.
Sure.
You kind of give up,
Dennis?
I buy it for the same reasons Kenneth Branagh. I mean, I didn't know this property at all. When I heard it, I thought it was like an animated duck cartoon series or something like that. But then when I read a little more about it, a young criminal mastermind, I haven't really heard that before. So that's an interesting take. Hopefully they don't make it too much like Maleficent, where it's like, oh, he's really a good guy.
Misunderstood.
Yeah, hopefully he actually is a bad guy, and I think Kenneth Branagh can do a good job with it.
You raised a great point about how Kenneth Branagh, because he is also such a world-class thespian himself, Shakespeare background, all that kind of stuff. You're right. He brings that great stuff. I remember we were talking to Kate Blanchett about Cinderella, and one of the things she said was that she has never in her career, this is Kate Blanchett, been challenged like she was on Cinderella because she's got Kenneth Branagh, another world-class actor who's also a world-class director. And just to see what he might be able to do with this. And I didn't even think that Jack Ryan movie he did was all that bad. It wasn't as good as I was hoping it would be either. Not nearly as good as I was hoping it would be, but I also didn't think it was all that bad.